What is going on, everybody? How are you all doing? And welcome to another episode of City Talk. And today we're going to be reflecting on the Arsenal game at the weekend, looking forward to the United game that's coming this week. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently today, to be honest. In the past, in these videos, I've split it up into different questions, but today is going to be a bit more of like a podcast kind of format. I'm just going to go talking and ranting on about the game at the weekend and looking forward to it. But there's going to be no questions from you guys in this episode, but that will be going back to normal in the next episode. But what I'd really like to hear from you is if you prefer this format where it's all going to be one long talk, or whether you prefer it being split up into different sections, if that makes sense. But most of today's episode is going to be discussing the Arsenal game that went on at the weekend. Of course, it was the FA Cup semi-final, Wembley Stadium, and I'm gutted. I'm honestly absolutely gutted. It's a chance at silverware. It's an amazing competition, obviously, the FA Cup, and it just sums up our season. That game does, in a nutshell, it just sums up the season, and I just think it shows the fine margins of football, and it's once again just gone against our favour, basically, in a game where we could have won. I'm going to discuss the key moments, what I thought were the key moments in the game, really. The first major one, I mean, there's a couple of small moments. There was one where Aguero went over in the box under a challenge from Oxlade-Chamberlain that could have been a penalty. It was a bit clumsy by Oxlade-Chamberlain, but we're going to put that to one side. I think the first major talking point was the disallowed goal. Sane crossed the ball in. It was adjudged to have gone out of play. I think it was Aguero, if I remember correctly, then who blasted in after the cross, but it then got disallowed because, like I said, the linesman thought the ball had gone out of play, and that hadn't happened. The whole ball hadn't gone out of play, so that goal should have stood. And it's one of those moments, like I said, that I'm going to discuss where if it went another way, the game could have been completely different. Now, that was the first key moment because that was 100% a goal. The ball did not completely go out of play. Part of the ball was out, but not the entire ball, in my opinion. The next big moment, really, I think, came after both the goals. Now, we'll discuss the goals quickly. I mean, the Aguero goal, great tackle by Yaya, brilliant over-the-top ball, and Aguero took the chance incredibly well, just chipping it over a Ped's check after Monreal couldn't quite keep up with him, sorry. But then Arsenal responded. I mean, at that point, we looked completely in control of the game. We looked the more dangerous side. We looked like we were going to go on and win it. And when we did score, that's what I thought was going to happen. Arsenal then got a goal out of, I don't want to say it's out of nothing, because they did have a bit of pressure on, but the goal itself, Nacho Monreal with an absolutely insane finish. I think it even surprised him how that went in, because it's not very often he finds himself on the score sheet in the kind of finish it was. It was an absolute bullet, no chance of bravo. And when they equalised, they had a bit of a patch, but then there was a 5-minute patch which for me defined how the game was going to go, and this is the main thing I want to talk about and what I mean by fine margins in football, because there's a period where Petr Cech made one of the best saves I've seen this year from Yaya Toure. The volley from outside the box, he got a fingertip, not even probably like a fingernail to it, to tip it onto the post, across the goal, and out it went. And that was a huge moment. That was one of those things where you think, God, is it just going to be not going to be our day? And then literally about 2 or 3 minutes after that, Fernandinho hit the crossbar with an absolute bullet header from a corner. And that was in the space of 2 or 3 minutes. And you think to yourself, when it's your day, those kind of chances go in. The disallowed goal, that counts. And it's just these little things that I feel like all season haven't gone for us. And don't get me wrong, I don't think we would have won the league or anything like that if those decisions had been a bit more in our favour, because our defence has not been good enough. Bravo hasn't been good enough. But it's these little things that make a big difference on the big games. Like the De Bruyne miss against Chelsea earlier in the season. That's a huge moment. There's other games where if we'd have just put a chance away or something that had gone more in our favour, we could have been in a lot more comfortable a position than we are now. But going back to the game, when that happened in the space of 5 minutes, those two chances, I really did feel like it wasn't going to be our day. And then Arsenal score a goal that's a very scrappy goal. And again, it's the fine margins of football. We look like we were the better team. The cross comes in, and it's just, I think it was a missed kick from Welbeck. It bobbles around in the box, and Sanchez taps in, alive to the situation. First to react, fair play to him. But that's what I mean, that bit of luck that you sometimes need, and it just wasn't with us yesterday, unfortunately. I think once Arsenal went 2-1 up in extra time, I will say we didn't do anywhere near enough, but I do feel like the subs that we made were a very, very poorly timed, because we took off Aguero, and then just after that, Arsenal scored, and that was our main goal threat gone, just at the worst possible time, basically. But we did have one more chance in extra time, and that fell to Fabian Delph. De Bruyne arguably could have played it to De Bruyne. De Bruyne could have arguably arguably played it to Sane, he would have perhaps had a slightly better chance than Delph, but I still feel like Delph had a great chance to put it away, and a deflection off, I think it was Bellerin who got back at him, took it just wide, and like I say, I'm gutted. It's because not only is it not the final that we're going to, it also means that we're going to be having a trophyless season. We're not going to be winning anything this year, which is obviously not what we set out to do when the season kicks off. Guardiola's going to have his first season be trophyless. And I'll just, like I say, in a nutshell, I feel that's how the season's gone. Just these little things that if we could have had a bit more luck or done a bit better ourselves, it could have been a much, much better season. And the other bad news is we have players going off. There's been no injury news yet that I'm aware of. The likes of David Silva went off early in the game. Aguero went off, and we're not sure if that was an injury. And we've got United coming up soon. It's going to be really interesting. We've got United at home. We beat them away, obviously, and I think the injuries, if Aguero is injured and David Silva's injured as well, they are two massive, massive misses for that game coming up on Thursday. So, and also, that game being on a Thursday, what is that all about? That really annoyed me, the fact that the United game's on a Thursday. I was planning on going to that game, vlogging the game, always look forward to the derby, and because it's been moved to a Thursday, I can't go, unfortunately. So that really, really annoyed me, but it's going to be a huge game. You look at the context of the top four now. You've got Liverpool are in a slightly weaker position now, but they are in. They'll be grateful because they've got 2 games in hand over us and United, and one of those games we're playing each other, obviously. So I think at one time, even like as late on as yesterday morning before the Liverpool Palace game, you would have said that the top 4 was going to be fought out between us and United for that final spot, but it could end up being that us and United both get in and maybe Liverpool are the team to miss out, because I believe they're 2 points ahead of us and 3 points ahead of United, but they have played 2 games more. So no matter what goes on that game, in that game on Thursday, of course it's a game that we need to be winning in an ideal world to secure that top 4 position. It really would open up a bit more breathing space, which is what we could do with. And we have got quite a nice running, to be honest, after that United game. But I think for United as well, if they do lose that game, or if we lose that game, it's not going to be game set a match for the top 4 because of that game in hand over Liverpool. So Liverpool really are bottling it a bit at the moment, but it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can capitalise on it. So that game on Thursday is going to be absolutely huge. Hopefully the injury news isn't bad on the likes of Aguero and David Silva. And Gabriel Jesus, a lot of people did think he was going to be on the bench for that game against Arsenal at the weekend, but he wasn't, unfortunately. And I do feel like he'll make an appearance on the bench on Thursday against United. So if Aguero is injured, I don't think you should rush Jesus straight back into the team if he's not ready. However, it would be great to have him on the bench as an option. So that is something we can potentially look forward to, seeing the return of Jesus. That will be quite a big game for him to be coming back into as well. And United as well got a good win at the weekend. They beat Burnley away from home. Burnley very, very solid at home, so a good win for them. But focusing a bit more on ourselves again now. I think, like I say, I'm gutted that we're not going to win anything this year, and I think when you look forward to next season and the things that we need to change, I think it's only going to be subtle changes that we need to make to improve. I've discussed it a lot on this series in the past, signings, all that kind of thing, and all those kind of things, and I think it's just going to be small tweaks that we need, and maybe just to be that bit more clinical. And I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think at times this season we've looked absolutely fantastic going forward, and then at the same time at certain games we've looked absolutely dreadful at the back. So something's going to have to change, but I don't think it needs to be anything major. I still think we're showing signs of a team that can compete for the title if small changes are made. We need to be a bit more solid at the back. And with Company coming in the last few games, we have looked so much more comfortable. It's unbelievable. He's played the last 3 games now, I believe. 90 minutes in all of them. Hopefully, it can be a sign that he can play consistently through the next season. It'd be great if he can finish off this season first and stay injury-free. Then we'll look forward to next season. But when you've got Company fit, it's unbelievable the difference that he makes to our team. We look so much more composed at the back. He's a fantastic leader. And even yesterday, I think he played really well. And I don't think any of the goals really were... I mean, I don't know. Both goals really were out the blue. I mean, the cross from Monreal, like I said, was a bullet finish. And it was just a scrappy goal from a corner. But I do think with him in the team, as everyone knows, we look a much more settled side. But I think this is going to end off this video, lads. I didn't want to keep it too long. I wanted to try and keep it under that 10-minute mark. But let me know, like I said at the start, if you did enjoy this different format where I just talk in a short podcast kind of form rather than the questions. Like I say, questions will be coming back next time, but it might be in this kind of form rather than the previous one. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on the game, of course, from the weekend, and hey, you think the United game is going to go on Thursday. I think we're going to pick up all 3 points, but of course it is not going to be easy. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Man City win, because 3-1 seems a very common score in the Manchester derby over the past few years, so I'm going to go 3-1 to Man City. Let me know your predictions and thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will speak to you all in the next video tomorrow, lads. Enjoy the rest of your day. Nidge out.
Yo, he's Nidge, plays with big games, and player reviews are getting insane. He entertains while he elevates, his video quality resonates. On career mode, he got lots of vids uploading off and he's rocking it. He's got the confidence in all his commentaries. Videos range, they often vary. Got need for speed and a road to glory. Just watching vids and you know the story. The content is underrated, I'm understating, so don't ignore the